Commander Jin stood at the bridge of the exploration vessel Starwalker, watching the stars through the main viewport. His ship was small compared to the massive vessels that suddenly appeared around them, the alien. Ships looked like floating cities made of dark metal, each one 10 times larger than his entire vessel. "Commander, we're getting an incoming transmission," said Hannah from her engineering station. Her fingers moved quickly across the holographic controls, trying to analyze the alien technology. "It's different from anything we've seen before, pilot." Dee turned from his navigation console, his face tense. "Sir, we're completely surrounded. I count at least 20 ships, maybe more. They just appeared out of nowhere." Jin nodded calmly. "Put the transmission through, Hannah." The main screen flickered to life, showing a creature that made Jin's crew take a step back. The alien ambassador stood nearly 8 feet tall, with forearms and skin that looked like polished stone. Its eyes glowed with a cold blue light. And when it spoke, its voice sounded like grinding metal. "I am Ambassador Vex of the Galactic Confederation," the creature announced. "You will listen carefully, primitive ones. Your species has violated sacred space law by venturing beyond your small world without permission." Jin kept his expression neutral. "I'm Commander Jin of Earth's Deep Space Exploration Program. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship with other civilizations." The alien's laugh was harsh and mechanical. "Friendship. Your kind barely understands fire, yet you dare travel among the stars. This is impossible without stealing technology from your betters." Round the bridge, Jin's crew exchanged glances. Communications Officer Bomb whispered into her headset, sending coded messages back to Earth. Medical Officer Tai monitored the aliens' biosignatures, gathering data that might prove useful later. "We developed our technology through centuries of hard work and innovation," Jin replied. "Earth's scientists and engineers build everything you see here." "Lies," Ambassador Vex hissed. "No species develops faster than light travel within 5,000 years of discovering electricity. The Confederation has monitored your pathetic world. You still fight wars with chemical explosives and metal projectiles, yet somehow, you claim to have built quantum drive engines." Han looked up from her console. "Their scanners are trying to penetrate our ship's systems, Commander. Should I activate the defensive protocols?" "Not yet," Jin said quietly. "Let them look. They'll find exactly what we want them to find." The alien ambassador continued his threatening speech. "The Confederation has ruled this galaxy for over 1,000,000 years. We maintain order among the civilized species. Primitive races like yours are forbidden from space travel until you prove worthy through centuries of peaceful development." "And who decides when we're worthy?" Jin asked. "We do, obviously. Your species shows all the signs of a typical Death World barbarism. You wage constant wars, destroy your own environment, and create weapons designed only for killing. Such creatures cannot be allowed to spread their violence across the galaxy." They clenched his fists. "Death World. Is that what they're calling Earth?" "Indeed," Vex replied. "Having heard the question, your planet is classified as a Class 12 Death World. The fact that any intelligent life survived there at all is considered a minor miracle, but survival on such a hostile world has made your species aggressive and unpredictable." Jin smiled slightly. "You seem to know a lot about us." "We know enough. The Confederation has been watching your world for 3 of your centuries. We have observed your wars, your cruelty, your inability to cooperate even among your own kind. You are exactly what we expected from a Death World species. But here we are anyway," Jin said calmly. The alien's glowing eyes narrowed. "Yes, which brings us to the matter at hand. Your species has exactly 48 of your hours to surrender unconditionally. Every human spacecraft must return to Earth immediately. Your planet will submit to Confederation oversight until you prove capable of civilized behavior, and if we refuse, then we will demonstrate why the Confederation has maintained galactic peace for so long. Your entire species will be classified as a threat to civilized society. We will take whatever steps necessary to protect the galaxy from human aggression. The threat hung in the air like a physical presence. Round the bridge, Jin's crew stayed focused on their duties. But he could see the tension in their movements. 48 hours, Ambassador Vex repeated. Use this time wisely. Consider the fate of other species who chose defiance over wisdom. What happened to them? Jin asked. The alien's expression was cold. They learned that the Confederation's patience has limits. After the transmission ended, the bridge fell silent except for the quiet hum of ship systems. Jin walked to the communications station where Bomb was still working. Did Earth receive our data packet? He asked quietly. Yes, sir. Full tactical analysis, alien ship specifications, and a complete recording of the conversation. Admiral Miller should have it within the hour. Jin nodded and moved to the center of the bridge. His crew looked at him, waiting for orders. Outside the viewport, the massive alien ships maintained their threatening positions, their weapons clearly visible. Well, Jin said with a slight smile, I think it's time our new friends learned something about humans they didn't find in their surveillance reports. He activated the ship's emergency beacon, sending a coded signal that would reach Earth in minutes. The real response was about to begin. And these overconfident aliens had no idea what they had just awakened. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Admiral Mira stood in the command center of Atlanta Space, watching dozens of holographic displays showing ship positions across the solar system. The emergency beacon from Commander Jin's ship had arrived 30 minutes ago. And now Earth's true defense network was coming alive. Status report. Mira commanded, her voice echoing through the vast underground facility. All stealth fleets are responding, Admiral, reported Captain Wu from his position at the tactical console. Ghost Squadron is moving into position behind Jupiter's moons. Shadow Fleet is using the asteroid belt for cover. The aliens still have no idea we're here. Mira smiled grimly. For over 200 years, humanity had been preparing for this moment, while the Galactic Confederation watched Earth through their surveillance networks. They saw exactly what humans wanted them to see: primitive rockets, chemical fuel engines, and basic nuclear technology. They never suspected that Earth's real space fleet had been hidden throughout the solar system. Sir, we're getting reports from all hidden bases, announced Lieutenant Bai from the communications station. Lunar Base reports 50 ships ready for deployment. Mars Underground confirms 37 vessels on and operational. Even the mining stations in the outer system are reporting combat readiness. The genius of humanity's deception had been in plain sight. Every mining operation and research station that the aliens observed was actually a military installation. Every primitive spacecraft they tracked was deliberately shown to them, while the real fleet remained invisible using technology the Confederation didn't even know existed. What about our quantum drive technology? Mira asked. Captain Wu pulled up a three-dimensional display showing ship movements. The aliens are still using their old hyperspace engines, Admiral. They have to follow predictable jump points and travel lanes, but our quantum drives can appear anywhere instantly. We can hit them from angles they never expect. Dr. Lee burst into the command center, carrying a data tablet filled with alien analysis. The brilliant scientist had been working non-stop since Jin's transmission arrived. Admiral, I've found something incredible, Lee said, his excitement barely contained. These Confederation ships aren't as advanced as they want us to believe. Look at this. He activated a holographic display showing the alien vessel's internal structure. Their entire fleet operates on a centralized command system. Every ship, every weapon, every decision goes through their main command vessel. It's like they've never heard of independent thinking. What does that mean for us? Mir asked. It means they're vulnerable in a way they don't even realize, Lee explained. Human military doctrine emphasizes independent command at every level. Our ship captains make their own tactical decisions, but these aliens, they wait for orders from the top. Captain will lean forward, understanding immediately. So if we can disrupt their command ship, the entire fleet becomes confused and disorganized, Lee finished. They've become so dependent on centralized control that they've forgotten how to think for themselves. Mira studied the alien fleet composition on her displays. 23 massive vessels surrounded Jin's small exploration ship, but their formation was rigid and predictable. Exactly what she would expect from a species that had dominated the galaxy for so long they'd forgotten how to fight a real war. Captain Wu, prepare your squadron for Operation Blindside. Miro ordered. I want you to demonstrate human tactical flexibility. Yes, Admiral, Wu replied, heading toward the launch bay. My pilots have been practicing for this moment there. Entire careers. As Wu left, Mira turned to her staff. Begin Phase 1 deployment. I want every hidden base to launch their decoy signals. Let the Confederation think they're tracking our entire fleet. While our real ships move into attack positions, Lieutenant Bay's fingers flew over her controls. Decoy signals active, Admiral. The aliens are detecting what appears to be 300 human vessels moving throughout the system. Perfect. They'll think we're panicking and launching everything we have. They won't realize that most of those signals are just electronic phantoms. Dr. Lee was still analyzing alien technology when he made another discovery. Admiral, there's something else. Their weapon systems are incredibly powerful, but they're designed for fighting other Confederation species. Look at their targeting systems. The display showed alien weapon configurations. They're built to lock onto specific energy signatures that all Confederation ships use. But our ships use completely different power systems. Their auto-targeting might not work properly against us. Are you telling me their weapons might miss us entirely? Not entirely. But they'll have to aim manually instead of relying on their computers. And from what I can see, these aliens haven't done manual targeting in centuries. Across the solar system, Captain Wu's squadron emerged from their hiding places behind Jupiter's largest moon. His 12 ships were sleek and deadly, using experimental quantum drives that could bend space-time itself. Unlike the massive alien vessels, human ships were built for speed, stealth, and surprise attacks. Ghost leader to all units. Wu spoke into his communication system. Remember, we're not trying to win this fight. We're trying to show them what they're really dealing with. His pilot, Lieutenant Ray, checked their ship's systems, quantum drive charged and ready. Captain, we can be anywhere in the system in 3 seconds. Excellent. Target the alien sensor rays first. Let's make them blind before they realize we're here, back at Atlanta Space. Admiral Mira watched as her carefully planned operation began to unfold. The Galactic Confederation thought they were dealing with primitive humans who had somehow stolen advanced technology. They were about to learn that human ingenuity went far beyond anything they could imagine. Units report ready, Admiral. Lieutenant Bai announced. Mira took a deep breath. Humanity had spent centuries preparing for a first contact, hoping it would be peaceful. But if the galaxy wanted a war, they would discover why humans had survived on a death world where everything tried to kill them. Begin the demonstration, she ordered. Let's show them what real human technology looks like. Captain Wu's squadron struck first, appearing out of nowhere near the alien formation surrounding Commander Jin's ship. The quantum drives allowed his 12 vessels to materialize instantly, bypassing all Confederation sensors and defensive systems. Ghost Squadron, execute lightning strike. Wu commanded as his ships opened fire on the alien sensor rays. The Confederation vessels were massive and heavily armored, but their sensors were external and vulnerable. Human plasma cannons, designed specifically for precision strikes, disabled 3 alien ships' ability to see or communicate within seconds. What just happened? Ambassador Vex demanded from his command ship, watching his tactical displays go dark. Where did those ships come from? His tactical officer, a 6-armed creature covered in metallic scales, struggled with the controls. Unknown. Ambassador, our sensors show no hyperspace signatures. These vessels appeared without using any known travel method. Meanwhile, 3 star systems away, Pilot Sue led her strike team against a Confederation supply convoy. Her ship, Night Hunter, was built for speed and stealth, using human technology that bent light around the vessel. Supply ships dead ahead. Her navigator, Ensign Doc, reported 12 cargo vessels with 4 escort frigates. Sue grinned. Perfect. Remember, everyone, we're not here to destroy everything. We want them confused and scared. Her squadron of 8 ships approached the convoy using a tactic no alien species had ever employed. Instead of attacking in formation, each human ship came from a completely different direction at different times. The first alien escort exploded as Sue's torpedoes found their target. But instead of pressing the attack, she immediately retreated, leaving the aliens wondering where the strike had come from. 2 minutes later, Lieutenant Kang attacked from the opposite side, disabling a cargo ship's engines before vanishing again. The Confederation escorts spun in circles, trying to track enemies that appeared and disappeared like ghosts. This is impossible, the alien convoy commander transmitted to his superiors. The attackers don't follow any known tactical doctrine. They strike and retreat, strike and retreat. We can't predict where they'll hit next. Back in the Proxima system, Commander Hack's infiltration team had accomplished something the Confederation thought was impossible, using human computer viruses that evolved and adapted. They had penetrated the alien communication network. We're inside their system, reported Chief Technician Yon from her position aboard the stealth ship Silent Arrow. Their security is incredibly advanced, but it's designed to stop known threats. Our adaptive viruses are something they've never encountered. Commander Huck studied the alien data flying across his screens. What are we seeing? Everything, sir. Fleet positions, supply routes, command protocols, even personal messages between alien officers. They never considered that someone might develop completely different hacking methods. The human infiltration revealed something shocking about the Galactic Confederation. For a million years, they had fought wars the same way. Massive fleets met in open space, traded shots until one side surrendered. Then the winner absorbed the loser's territory. Every species followed the same predictable patterns. Look at this, Jan said, highlighting alien tactical manuals. They have detailed plans for fighting every known species in the galaxy, but there's nothing about guerrilla warfare, surprise attacks, or adaptive tactics. They literally don't understand what we're doing. While human teams struck across multiple systems, the Confederation Central Command struggled to respond. Admiral Worth, a massive creature with tentacles instead of arms, reviewed the reports flooding into his headquarters on Confederation Prime. Explain this to me again, Worth demanded, his tentacles writhing with frustration. These humans are attacking 17 different systems simultaneously. Yes, Admiral, his aide replied nervously, but they're not trying to conquer territory. They hit our supply lines, disable our sensors, steal our data. then vanish before we can respond. That makes no sense. What's their objective? We don't know, sir. Their actions don't match any warfare pattern in our databases. In the Ross 128 system, Pilot Sue was demonstrating exactly why human tactics were so effective. Her squadron had just disabled an entire Confederation listening post without firing a single shot. How did you do that, as her wingman, Lieutenant Park? Simple, Sue replied. Watching the alien base go dark. We hacked their power grid and made it look like a system malfunction. They'll spend days trying to fix equipment that isn't actually broken. This was the genius of human warfare. While other species relied on brute force, humans used creativity, deception, and psychological warfare. They didn't just fight with weapons, they fought with ideas. Commander Hack's infiltration team had discovered the Confederation's greatest weakness. Their entire military structure was based on predictable behavior. Every species they had conquered fought the same way, thought the same way, and surrendered the same way. Admiral Mira needs to see this, Huck said, studying alien military psychology. Reports, the Confederation has never fought an enemy that thinks differently than they do. They literally can't comprehend unpredictable behavior across the galaxy. Human strike teams continued their unconventional campaign. They would appear, cause confusion, gather intelligence, then disappear before the aliens could organize a response. No two attacks were alike, making it impossible for the Confederation to develop countermeasures. Pilot Nam's squadron used another uniquely human tactic: misdirection. They attacked a minor outpost while broadcasting fake communications about a major assault on a different system. The Confederation forces rushed to defend the wrong target while humans accomplished their real objective elsewhere. The aliens are pulling ships from 12 systems to defend against an attack that isn't coming, Nam reported to Admiral Mira. They're so focused on our fake signals that they've left their actual important facilities. Unoffended, this is not how civilized species conduct warfare, Vex declared to his staff. Where are their main battle fleets? Why won't they engage us in proper combat? His tactical officer had no answers. The humans were rewriting the rules of galactic warfare, using tactics that the Confederation had never imagined possible. Every strike was different. Every approach was unexpected, and every retreat left the aliens more confused than before. The Galactic Confederation was learning a hard lesson about human nature. On a death world like Earth, survival meant being unpredictable, adaptable, and creative. Humans didn't follow rules in warfare because on Earth, following rules meant extinction. The captured Confederation officers sat in the interrogation room aboard the human vessel Deep Strike, their alien features showing confusion and fear. Admiral Vorth's massive tentacles writhed nervously as he faced Dr. Yun, who had been studying galactic species for decades. "You want to understand why we fight differently?" Dr. Yun asked, settling into her chair across from the alien commanders. "Let me tell you about Earth." She activated a holographic display showing humanity's home planet. The aliens leaned forward, seeing Earth's surface for the first time in detail. Most species in this galaxy evolved on what we call garden worlds. Dr. Yun explained: stable climates, predictable seasons, abundant resources. Your home world, for example, has weather patterns that haven't changed in millions of years. Admiral Vorth's translator device buzzed as he spoke. Yes, stability allows for proper civilization to develop. Chaos breeds only violence and disorder. Dr. Yun smiled. That's where you're wrong. Look at Earth more closely. The display zoomed in, showing massive storms, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and tsunamis. The alien officers recoiled as they watched the planet's surface constantly changing. Earth kills everything that can't adapt. Dr. Young continued. Ice ages that freeze entire continents. Volcanic eruptions that block out the sun for years. Massive storms that can level forests. Earthquakes that reshape the landscape overnight. How did any life survive? Asked Commander Zek. A reptilian creature with glowing yellow eyes, by becoming incredibly good at solving problems quickly. Dr. Young replied. Every human alive today is descended from ancestors who survived countless disasters. We learned to think fast, adapt constantly, and never give up. She changed the display to show human evolution. While your species developed in peace, humans faced extinction daily. We had to become creative, resourceful, and unpredictable just to stay alive. Meanwhile, 3 decks below, Captain Bin was proving Dr. Yun's point in the most dramatic way possible. He stood before a massive alien war machine that even Confederation engineers feared to operate. "Sir, are you sure about this?" asked Lieutenant Chu, his technical officer. "The aliens say this thing has killed every non-Confederation species that tried to use it." Captain Bin studied the alien device. A towering mechanical creature with dozens of weapon systems and an artificial intelligence that supposedly couldn't be controlled by permit. "Hive minds, that's because they tried to control it the alien way," Bin said, approaching the machine's control interface. "But humans don't think like other species. The war machine, called a battle titan by the Confederation, stood 30 feet tall and bristled with energy weapons. Its AI had been programmed to work only with Confederation neural patterns, making it impossible for other species to operate. But Captain Bin had grown up repairing broken machinery on Earth, where nothing ever worked perfectly and improvisation was a survival skill. "Computer, activate Battle Titan control systems." He commanded. The machine's red eyes glowed to life, and its mechanical voice boomed through the chamber. "Identity scan initiated. Species unknown. Neural pattern incompatible. Access denied." "That's what I expected," Bin said calmly. He pulled out a human-made device and connected it to the Titan's control panel. "Let's try a different approach instead of trying to interface directly with the alien AI." Bin's device created a translation layer that converted human thoughts into signals the machine could understand. It was like learning to speak the Titan's language rather than forcing it to understand human. "Identity scan complete," the machine announced, its voice now curious rather than hostile. "Neural pattern, adaptive and creative. Caution recommended. Proceeding with limited access." Lieutenant Cho's eyes widened. "Sir, it's actually responding to you." "Of course it is," Bin replied, his hands moving confidently over the alien controls. "The Confederation built this thing to be too dangerous for other species because they assumed everyone thinks like they do. But humans learn by experimenting, not by following rigid protocols." Back in the interrogation room, Dr. Yun was explaining humanity's unique evolutionary path to the increasingly amazed alien officers. "Your species mastered their environments through superior technology," she said. "Humans mastered their environment by becoming more adaptable than the environment itself." She showed them images of humans living in every possible condition on Earth: Arctic ice, burning deserts, underwater cities, floating platforms above active volcanoes. "We don't just survive in hostile conditions," Dr. Yun continued. "We thrive in them. The more dangerous the situation, the more creative humans become." Admiral Vorth's tentacles stopped writhing as understanding began to dawn. "You're saying that chaos makes your species stronger?" "Exactly. While other species seek stability and order, humans have learned that constant change is the only constant. We don't fear the unknown. We embrace it." Commander Zek leaned forward. "But surely you must have some limitations." There must be challenges that would break even human adaptability. Dr. Yun's smile was both proud and slightly terrifying. We haven't found them yet. Down in the engineering bay, Captain Bin was demonstrating this principle perfectly. The battle titan that had killed dozens of alien test pilots was now responding to his commands like a loyal pet. Battle systems online, the titan announced. Warning, pilot exhibits non-standard tactical thinking. Recommend extreme caution. That's the point, Bin said, activating the machine's combat protocols. Show me what you can do. The Titan's weapon systems came alive, displaying targeting solutions and tactical options that made Lieutenant Cho gasp. The single machine had more firepower than most human ships. The Confederation designed this to be operated by committee. Bin explained as he tested the controls, multiple officers giving careful, planned commands. But I'm going to run it like a human pilot. Fast, instinctive, and completely unpredictable. The Battle Titan's air seemed to purr with approval. Pilot Creativity Index, exceptional. Combat effectiveness, projected to exceed design parameters. Word of Captain Bin's success spread quickly through the ship. The supposedly uncontrollable alien war machine was not only responding to human commands but seemed to be enjoying the experience. Dr. Yun received the report during her interrogation session and shared it with the captured aliens. Captain Bin has just accomplished something your entire Confederation said was impossible. Want to know why? Admiral Vort's voice was barely a whisper. How? Because humans don't accept that something is impossible until we've tried every possible solution, and then we invent new solutions that nobody else thought of. Dr. Yun replied, Your battle titans aren't dangerous to humans because we're not afraid of danger. We're afraid of boredom. The alien officers sat in stunned silence as the full implications hit them. They had spent 1,000,000 years conquering species that thought like they did, fought like they did, and surrendered like they did. But humans were different. Humans had evolved on a world that tried to kill them every day, and instead of breaking them, it had forged them into something the galaxy had never seen before. Your Confederation made one critical error, Dr. Yun said softly. You assumed that because we come from a primitive world, we must be primitive ourselves. But surviving on Earth required us to become more advanced than any species that evolved in safety. The revelation was complete. The Galactic Confederation finally understood what they were truly fighting. Not just another species, but the product of 1,000,000,000 years of evolution under the harshest conditions imaginable. Humans weren't just survivors, they were evolutions. Masterpiece of adaptability. The emergency session of the Galactic Confederation High Council convened on their capital world of Nexus Prime. A massive planet-sized space station at the center of their empire. Supreme Chancellor Vex, an ancient being whose crystalline body had witnessed 1,000,000 years of galactic history, reviewed the devastating reports flooding in from across Confederation space. In 72 hours, these humans have accomplished what no enemy has managed in our entire history. Chancellor Vex announced to the assembled alien leaders, They have made us afraid. Back at the original confrontation site, Ambassador Vex was receiving increasingly desperate reports from across Confederation space. Human forces seemed to be everywhere and nowhere, striking at will while remaining impossible to pin down. The council chamber erupted in nervous chatter from hundreds of different species. Admiral Vort, recently released from human custody, stood to address the assembly. Honored Chancellor, I have seen their capabilities firsthand, Vort said, his tentacles trembling slightly. They don't just fight differently than us. They think differently. Every assumption we've made about warfare, about intelligence, about civilization itself, has been proven wrong. Commander Zek activated a holographic display showing human fleet movements. Look at this tactical analysis. In the past day, Human forces have penetrated 17 core systems simultaneously. They're not conquering territory. They're demonstrating that they can reach any target in our empire whenever they choose. The display showed human ships appearing, near vital Confederation installations, the central command hub, the primary shipyards, even the High Council's own defense grid. Each time, the human vessels performed a complex maneuver that clearly demonstrated their technological superiority, then vanished before Confederation forces could respond. They're sending us a message, Chancellor Vex realized. They could destroy our entire infrastructure if they wanted to, but they're choosing not to. Meanwhile, aboard the human flagship Terra's Pride, Admiral Mira was coordinating the final phase of humanity's demonstration. Her ship floated majestically in the space between Nexus Prime and its defensive moons, clearly visible to every sensor in the Confederation capital system. Admiral, we're receiving a priority transmission from the High Council. Reported communications. Officer Bai, they're requesting immediate negotiations. Put them through. Mira commanded. Supreme Chancellor Vex appeared on the main screen, his crystalline form pulsing with nervous energy. Admiral Mir of the Human Defense Fleet, I am. Supreme Chancellor Vex of the Galactic Confederation. We wish to discuss terms. Terms? Mira asked calmly. What terms would those be, Chancellor? A ceasefire. Vex replied quickly. We acknowledge that we may have misjudged your species' capabilities. Perhaps we can reach a peaceful resolution to this conflict. Back on Commander Jin's exploration vessel, Ambassador Nari had arrived to handle the formal negotiations. She was humanity's most skilled diplomat, chosen specifically for her ability to communicate with alien minds. Ambassador Vex, Nari addressed the alien who had started this entire confrontation. I believe you mentioned something about humanity being too primitive for space travel. Vex's stone-like features showed embarrassment. We were operating under incomplete information. Your species has demonstrated capabilities that our surveillance networks failed to detect. That's because you only saw what we wanted you to see. Nari replied smoothly. For centuries, humanity has been preparing for this moment. We hoped it would be a peaceful first contact. But we were ready for any possibility. She activated a holographic display showing Earth's true space infrastructure. The aliens gasped as they saw thousands of hidden bases, disguised installations, and camouflaged fleets throughout the solar system. Every primitive facility you observed was a carefully constructed deception, Nari explained. While you were watching our fake chemical rockets, we were developing quantum drive technology. While you monitored our simple communications, we were building networks you couldn't detect. Commander Jin joined the conversation from his bridge. The question now is, what happens next? Supreme Chancellor Vex's image flickered as he consulted with his advisors. The Confederation is prepared to offer humanity immediate membership in our galactic community. Full rights, equal representation, access to all trade networks and technological exchanges. That's generous, Nari said. But what about other species? What about civilizations you suppressed because you deemed them too primitive? The alien leaders exchanged uncomfortable glances. This was the heart of the matter, and they all knew it. Humanity doesn't just want membership for ourselves, Commander Jin added. We want to ensure that no other species faces the same treatment. We received Dr. Yan, who had been studying Confederation records, provided crucial context. We've discovered that you suppressed over 300 developing civilizations, keeping them from advancing because you considered them dangerous or unpredictable. Those species were classified as potential threats. Admiral Vorth protested weakly. So were we, Jin replied. But instead of being a threat, we're offering to be protectors. Humanity proposes a new galactic doctrine. Every species gets the chance to prove themselves through peaceful contact, not predetermined judgment. The negotiations continued for hours, with human representatives demonstrating the same adaptability in diplomacy that they had shown in warfare. Every alien objection was met with creative solutions, every concern addressed with innovative proposals. Finally, Chancellor Vex made the formal announcement. The Galactic Confederation officially recognizes humanity as a full member species with all rights and privileges. Furthermore, we establish the Human Protection Doctrine, guaranteeing that no developing civilization will be suppressed without just cause and proper evaluation. But Commander Jin had one final message for the galaxy. Let this be a lesson too. Every species watching these negotiations, humanity fought not for conquest, but for recognition. We demonstrated our strength not to destroy, but to protect. But understand this clearly. Any civilization that threatens innocent species or suppresses developing worlds will face the same response you've just witnessed. His words carried across the galaxy through the Confederation's communication networks, reaching every species in known space. Humans are not your enemies unless you make us your enemies. Jin continued. We offer friendship to those who seek peace, assistance to those who need help, and protection to those who face oppression. But we will never again allow ourselves or others to be dismissed as too primitive or too dangerous for the galaxy. The transformation was immediate, within days. Suppressed civilizations across the galaxy began receiving human contact teams, offering technological assistance and diplomatic support. The rigid hierarchy that had controlled galactic civilization for a million years began to change, replaced by a new era of cooperation and mutual respect. Ambassador Nari concluded the historic negotiations with words that would be remembered. Across the galaxy, today, the universe learned that judging a species by their appearance or their origins is the most dangerous mistake any civilization can make. Humanity came from a death world. Yes, but that death world created something beautiful, a species that values all life and will fight to protect it, the Galactic Confederation. Humbled but not destroyed, began the long process of rebuilding their society based on human principles of fairness and opportunity. And across the galaxy, developing civilizations looked up at the stars with new hope, knowing that somewhere out there, humans were watching and ready to help. The age of galactic tyranny was over. The age of human guardianship had begun. The end.